Nigerian youths play a pivotal role in shaping the country's politics and national development, with over 60% of the population under the age of 30 years. Young persons represent a significant demographic that can drive change and progress. However, how well is the country harnessing this population, and how well, is this population being placed strategically, for political engagement? Well, joining me to discuss this is Lucky Ighoyota. He is a social critic and good governance advocate. He joins virtually from Delta State. Thank you for your time.
Good evening to you, and good evening to our viewers out there.
All right. Let me start by asking you. We often hear that, young people being told they are leaders of tomorrow, right? Particularly in this country. But the big question is, looking at the crop of young persons right now in the country, would you say that leadership, when it comes to, governance, both at the federal, state, and even local level, is sort of gearing in their direction anytime soon?
Yeah, thank you very much. To me, I haven't been in this stuff of politics for a while. I've come to understand that that saying that the future belongs to the young people in terms of politics may not be 100% complete. It's only for young people that have capacity to lead. Because if you look at our country very carefully in this Fourth Republic that began in 1999, we have some pretty young people being in government. Even the guys that had their stint in 1999, the Wikis of this world, the Boris of this world, the Ojuzo Carlos of this world, they were all in their late 30s, early 40s, some were even in their early 30s. So it's not a question of being young. We already have the not too young to run acts in place. And many young people have taken advantage of it. How many have actually acted differently? So to my mind, it's a question of having the passion to lead, capacity to lead, and having a change of mindset to these things. It's not necessarily a question of the young people coming on board politically to seize the space, because I believe that the young people are not supposed to be seeing the political space as a fight against the older generation. Even in other climes, you still see young people, older people participating in leadership, in politics. So I'm beginning to shift my drift away from just young people, even though I have my strong penchant advocating for young people to get themselves involved. But it's not every young person in politics that have the character, that have the competence, that have the know-how to lead or to manage, because public service in itself is managing of people. Now, all over the place, even in my state here, you see all manner of young people wanting to do politics. But how prepared are they? How deep is their preparedness? We are now in the fourth industrial revolution that is knowledge-based. How many of these young people are actually knowledgeable enough to understand how nations are built? How many of them are actually well prepared? Is it a question of bearing the title like the older generations are doing? Having retinues of car, having policemen guarding or standing by you. We've seen young people putting themselves up for election, for elective position in this country. The same young people castigate the young people. The same young people tends to queue where there is money, where they can water their taste for the immediate gains.
So are you sorry?
So I don't.
Just to get a few things out of the way, are you saying that at the moment a bulk or a good number of young persons in Nigeria are not strategically, what I call it, ripe for leadership? Is that what you're saying?
Partially so, partially so. The few ones that have been given the space to operate, how far have they fed? How much of a change have they brought into the system? The system have, in no small measure, swallowed them up. We are not seeing new ideas. That is why maybe the Gen Zs are the guys that are going to come and cause the disruption that some of us are waiting for, because the Gen Zs are coming up with a different kind of approach to doing things. So I'm actually looking out for them, because for some of us who are already in our mid-40s, we are looking at the recruitment of a younger generation apart from us, because our generation is beginning to behave like the older generation.
So Lucky, just to come in here. Sorry, Lucky.
With these things anymore.
So
because okay.
To come in here, you said you believe. You said you believe that the Gen Zs might have the answer to some of the leadership challenges that we are having, that you've given up practically on the millennials, the set of the millennials and the baby boomers, if I got you correctly, and that maybe the approach of the Gen Zs might just be the disruption positively that the country needs. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, somewhat. A lot of person doesn't give the Gen Zs a chance because of the way they do their thing. You know, they tend to be different. They tend to be eccentric in their approach to things. You don't blame them. It's their world. Their world. They're born into a digital generation, and for me, they are the most innovative set of human beings I've encountered in my entire life. They are so creative. Their mindset is different. They are not conventional. You know, we are used to the conventional way of doing things. These guys, they have come to let us understand that they can be anything without just any push. Just give them a phone, they'll bring the world to you. So for me, if I'm employing today in my small space, I like to even give opportunities to young people, the Gen Zs, because they are smart, and they understand the times, the evolution that is taking place around the world, around this fourth industrial revolution. They have what it takes to change the periscope for us in Nigeria. They're not to undermine the other generations, but I think we need to start encouraging the Gen Z, because whether we agree or disagree, they are the future. In the next 10, 20 years, they are the governors. In the next 10, 20, 30 years, they are the presidents of nations. They are the commissioners. They will be the ministers. No two ways about it. There's no guessing about that. Look, why I try to make case for the young, for the Gen Zs, I'm also equally not happy with the manner they are rallying themselves around even the few millennials or the boomers that are putting themselves up for elections. Look at Omoyele Sowore. Since 2018, he has been pushing for young people to take their place in country. How many young people have genuinely signed on to what Sowore is doing? They have not signed up. Even if you look at Obi too, the young people played a role, but it's not enough. They've got to take it to the next level, if you ask me. We have to demonetize things. They have to look at ways where they should put character first. They should develop character. Character is also a big issue here. You know, we have so many people having competencies, but without character. I think character is a big challenge. It's a very scarce commodity in our society. Everybody is just looking for quick money to build houses, to buy cars, at the expense of character. And without character, leadership cannot give the expected deliverables.
All right.
So these are my position on these issues right now.
All right, Lucky. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely dig deeper into this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Okay, bye.
Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. And of course, we are looking at the role of young persons in the country in the area of politics and nation building and also national development. Well, I still have my guest with me. Lucky Ighoyota is a social critic and good governance advocate. Thank you for staying with me, Lucky. Now, Lucky, you've elaborately advocated that you feel that maybe, according to you, Gen Zs are unconventional. They have their own different style and approach of doing things. They might make better governors, even maybe better presidents. And you sort of inferred that the millennials upwards might have been tinted. But I'm also going to ask you in terms of the role, of young persons and how, if at all, the system itself is structured in such a way that even encourages participation of young persons in national development. We've seen cases where, for instance, the End SARS and the End Bad Governance protest, a lot of young persons were involved. At the end of the day, we saw how many of them were incarcerated, arrested. Some of them, had to languish and, are still languishing, and suffering as a result of the fallout of that protest, right? So I'm going to also ask you that in terms of laws, in terms of the society's makeup itself, in terms of our style of leadership, do you think, sir, that it even encourages the participation of young persons in national development and politics?
Yes, the laws are there for everybody, for every age to take advantage of. Is it not the same country where you have these fintech guys, these flutter wave guys making waves? Is it not the same country? Davido, not a young person that is making wave in his music career. We have them all over, young people making waves. So it's not a question of law. It's a question of people understanding what they want per time. It is in this same country we saw the lives of Gowon. Was there no law against what do you call it now, treason, when he took the reins of power then? Or is it not in the same country? Obasanjo was in his early 40s when in his first stint in 1976 when he became head of state as a military general. So the question of law, to me, the laws are there for everybody to tap in. It depends on from the prism at which you are looking at the law. So I think the opportunities are bound for young people to thrive. Is whether the willingness is there. The encouragement, for me, nobody is going to encourage you. You've got to encourage yourself because life is personal. If you have an idea, or you feel duty bound, or you feel inspired to put yourself up for leadership, why not? Bankole was 37 when he became federal speaker at the time.
You seem to infer, Lucky, please listen. You seem to infer that the opportunities are there and that it's all about young persons positioning themselves. Now, let's even look at, for instance, elections, right? You find out that, unfortunately, our elections or style of electioneering here has been heavily monetized. Let's even start from the cost of, nomination forms or intention to run forms at party level. It runs into hundreds of millions. For some parties. The big question of how a young person is able to finance or get such funds comes up. So is it really about opportunities now, or the society not just on a level playing field to ensure that any young person who really genuinely aspires can get it?
You see, raising money is a question of network. When some of us put ourselves up for election in the last rounds of election in 2023, we started with a very small amount of money, but with our network, we were able to spend tens of millions of naira. People are spending billions of naira, not from their personal pocket. She already contested the election, we raised money through the GoFundMe. So crowdfunding is what I believe these young Gen Z guys can really tap from. And they are smart, they are digitally smart. That's why I'm advocating for them, because this traditional way of people wanting to steal, wanting to look for money by all means, or waiting for these principalities and powers to give them sponsorship into government or positions of power. At the end of the day, they will end up serving those people, living a subservient life in government, life of servitude. I think crowdfunding should be explored. To the young people should take advantage of crowdfunding and all these digital platforms that can help them mobilize funds through the internet, legitimate fund anyway, not Yahoo Yahoo. I'm talking about here. So that is on one side. Then again, I agree with you that our politics is highly monetized. If you want to go to House of Rep now, if you are not spending in my state, you'll be spending close to 700 to maybe 1 billion naira to be able to secure tickets and also prosecute the election. It's not really good, it's not really nice, but at the moment, there's nothing we can do about it. It's going to be a marathon. It's going to be a gradual process. Even in the part where I come from, like in southern Nigeria, these are culture. Don't forget that we're people of culture, Africans. Before you consult a human being, you see a human being, culturally, you present cola, you present drinks, and sometimes some small amount of money just to show respect. It's not bribery. They don't call it bribery. It's respect. They call it consultation. That alone gob a large chunk of our electoral funds. So these things have got to gradually give way, but it's not going to be through a one election cycle. It's going to take a whole lot of time for these things to change, and it has to do with mindset. Maybe that's why I'm looking at these Gen Zs guys, because they are disruptors in any way. They can be very disruptive. So I believe in them. I encourage them to put themselves up, because they have their own way, their own eccentric way of doing things. So I'm looking out for them. Why those of us that are still interested as millennials or above millennial boomers or whatever, millennium S and all that, if we are still interested, we can still be doing our thing with some form of mixed breeding with the Gen Zs, so that we should be able to build a country that should work for everybody, so that we'll stop this brain drain that has bedeviled our country. I'm not too happy as a young person now becoming a middle-aged person, see my country, a country I so dreamt of prospering in, raising my family in. You see many people, prosperous people, taking their families overseas.
All right, and
why they stay back in Nigeria? It's because the country is not working.
Lucky, thank you so much. And that, of course, will form a bulk of our conversation when we return from this break. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with me. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have Lucky Ighoyota. He's a social critic and good governance advocate as my guest. Lucky, thank you for staying with me. Now, let's talk about the brain drain, or what some Nigerians will refer to as the Japa syndrome. Now, according to what I have, Human Flight and Brain Drain Index, Nigeria's index value at 6.6 points above the world average of 4.98 points. Now, the country's average index value, that's from 2007 to 2024, is at 7.31 points, with a minimum of 6.5 points in 2021 and a minimum or maximum of 8.5 points in 2007. Now, let's of course make this all make sense. Now, the number of professionals leaving the country, approximately 13,500 healthcare workers left Nigeria for the UK between 2021 and 2022. Now, the number of psychiatrists have dropped from 300 in 2021, to about 200 or maybe even less. Now, my question to you is this. These problems are pretty much rife. What do you suggest as I call it the short-term solution to this? Because if you ask an average young person, you've been advocating for quite a number of Gen Zs to take up leadership roles. But if you also ask them too, a number of them just want to get out of the country and look for a better life. So how do we nip this brain drain jackpot syndrome in the bud?
Look, thank you. Look, the principle of life are the same. All the principles of life are the same anywhere on this planet. There's nowhere money is being printed on this planet to give to human beings. Even palliative cannot take you out of poverty. Life generally is tough anywhere, even in Canada. Ask people that lives in Canada. Ask your friends, your associates, or your family members that lives in North America or Europe or somewhere in Asia that people are running to. Look, it's not green there. It's not as green as being painted.
As many might agree with you that it's not green, but they would also tell you that there's a strong glimmer of hope.
Yes, there are glimpses of hope. Also, you have glimpses of hope here in Nigeria. Look, some of us have been privileged to send our family members or what, or relatives overseas. We know and feel the pain some of them are going through. Some of them are even having regrets. Look, I'm not telling you that the Western world doesn't have opportunities, but it is a question of mindset. If you have a mindset of making it in Nigeria, it is still possible. Though because our system is not working, systems are not in place to encourage yearning young people, so they are becoming discouraged. But what I do as a person, as a human being, as a believer of the project Nigeria, I still encourage them that have the understanding that it is the same everywhere to still stay. You can still live in Nigeria and work overseas. Why going there to put yourself in that cold, that kind of temperature? Why going there to put yourself as a third class, fourth class citizen? You understand? The numbers are still going to rise, no matter how we shout and talk. You said an average of 6% thereabout of professionals leaving. Look, they will still leave because no amount of talk is going to change them. More so when the political class are not yet deliberate. Look at what is happening in our country. In the build up to 2027, we still have a PDP, APC, ADC conglomerate. Nobody is thinking anything new. This transactional politics is going to destroy this country one day. Until we de-transactionalize our politics and have this transformational mindset of doing things, it is not going to be funny. Look, we are laughing. Every day it gets tougher. Every day it gets tougher. And so we say, Lucky Ighoyota, you are still in politics. Why won't I be in politics? Should I leave the space for them? We'll fight to finish. We will remain resolute. We'll keep fighting and advocating, not until things start working gradually. People fought for those nations. People are going to stay, to settle into. People fought for the Americas. Right. People fought for Europe. Look at Europe. Where was Second World? Look at the entire Europe. Europe was built after Second World War. They had suffered this same malaria. They had suffered chicken pox. They had suffered measles.
Thank you so much.
Of these all manner of diseases that were going through in Africa. It took conscious effort of citizens-driven mindset of developing their nations, not this prayer thing that fixes country.
All right, Lucky, thank you so much. I understand that we really need to go now. We really need to go, but it's been a pleasure having you as a guest on the show this evening. Lucky Ighoyota is a social critic and good governance advocate.
Before you go, my parting shot will be that the leaders should continue to give the young people a chance to prove themselves, just like what the Delta State governor has done. For those that actually didn't expect much from me, he's drafting them already. Not because he's my governor, because I'm from Delta. He recruited a lot of young persons into his government. And some of them are doing well, not most. Some of them are doing well, even though I had my worries and disappointment with so many of them. But the governor has given them a chance. So I encourage the older generations to give these young people a chance, whether they will fail or not, just give them a chance and see how we can move our country forward.
All right. Once again, thank you for your time, Lucky. Well, this is the beat we can take on the show today. In case you missed out, you can catch up on our YouTube platform. That's at News Central TV. You can also choose to follow us on social media. The handle is there right on your screen. You can choose to follow me personally at Dapo, at Digboyi. Until I come your way tomorrow, good night.